Okay, this video we will learn how to solve a linear equation with one variable. And this is the easiest one because it only requires one step. Okay, let's start with number one. Number one, the equation reads x plus 3 is equal to 9. And many of you probably know the answer is 6. But let me slow down. This is basically asking what number, so x here represents what number when added to 3 is equal to 9. And yes, we know the answer is 6. But we will have some other problems a little bit later down the line where you really can't guess it, can see the number right away. For example, take a look at number 4. Y here is the what number when added to negative 2/3 equal to 5/7. I don't know what that is. I have to work this out. Okay, so I'm going to show you steps where it may seem unnecessary for these simple problems, but you need to know how to do those steps so that you can solve problems like number 4 or even uglier problem than that. All right, and main idea in solving equation is that we want to isolate the variable x. So we want to take some algebraic step so that at the end, after we do all that, we have x equal to a number. In this case, it will be 6. Okay, and so what are those steps? Okay, the steps, in order to isolate, we want to get rid of the 3 because 3 is added to the variable x. And we want to do what is called the opposite or inverse of addition, and which is 3. And we're going to subtract 3. And equation, we cannot just do only one side. You must do the same thing for both sides. Otherwise, the equation is not balanced. So plus 3 and negative 3, they will cancel each other out. So we have x by itself, and that's what we want. And all we got to do is 9 minus 3, which is 6. And that's it. We are done. We isolate the variable, so we say x is equal to 6. Okay, number 2 is similar but very different than number 1. We're dealing with the same number 3, same variable x, and that's number 9. But the 3 is not added or subtracted, but here is multiplying, 3x. So what we need to do is we need to do the opposite of multiplication, which is division. And remember, what you do to one side, you gotta do to the other side. So here the 3 gets canceled out. So we have x remaining, and the answer is 9 divided by 3, which is 3. All right. Okay, let's move on down. So number 3, now we see a negative number. Okay, so basically it's saying negative 5 plus what number is equal to negative 2. All right, and some people probably guess it's positive 3. That's true. But then again, we'll look at systematic step. And what step that we need to take is take away that negative 5, and the opposite is plus 5. Again, same thing on both sides. Then we have x by itself, negative 2 plus 5 is positive 3. And that's it. All right. Okay, before we move to another problem, I want to show you the same problem in a slightly different way. So I'm going to erase what I wrote. Okay. Instead of adding 5 on both sides, there's a little quicker way. What I can do is I can take away this negative 5, just cross it out, and do the plus 5 on the other side. It's almost like this got moved over. And when you move over across the equal sign, the sign changes. Okay, now that happens only when you're adding or subtracting, not dividing like the previous problem number 2. Okay. All right, and of course now negative 5 is gone, so x is all by itself, so negative 2 plus 5 is just 3. Same answer we got before. All right, and I'm going to actually use that technique for number 4 problem. The negative 2/3 is to be removed, so I'm going to cross it out, move it over, and write that as plus 2/3. So y actually is really nothing more than adding these two fractions. The LCD is 21, so let me write, I may do fraction in a different way, 21, 5 times 3 plus 2 times 7. That'll give me 15 plus 14 over 21. What answer here is So y is equal to 29 over 21. And I'm going to write the answer a little more explicitly, like 29 over 21. All right. Okay. Number 5. Here we have negative 2/3. Again, number 5 and number 4 are similar. I purposely wrote those two problems, but quite different. Because now here negative 2/3 is multiplying by y. So the steps that we've taken in the problem 4 really will not apply here. Like we cannot take away the negative 2/3 and do a plus 2/3. That would be totally wrong. Okay. All right. And again, we want to get rid of the negative 2/3, and the quickest way to do that is to multiply both sides by so-called reciprocals. Here the reciprocal is negative 3 over 2. Okay, and by doing so, everything cancels out, and we just have y left. And again, that's what we want. And so y is equal to just a product multiplication of the two fractions. 5/7 times negative 3 over 2 will simply be negative 15 over 14. And that's it. All right. Okay, and number 6 looks a little peculiar in that the variable is on the right-hand side. If you don't like that, then just rewrite the problem as 6 over 13a is equal to 2/5. And you're welcome to work from there on. All right. But I'm going to do this similar to number 5's, where I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal, 13 over 6. Okay. And I noticed that what's happening here, the 2 and the 6 can be reduced. So a is equal to 13 over 15. Now, sometimes you may leave your answer like this, but usually it's customary to have variable on the left-hand side, because our language read from left to right. Just saying a is equal to 13 over 15. All right, and that is our answer for this problem number 6.